Hi again then guys, and welcome to another requested review for Gran Turismo Sport. This time I've had quite a number of requests actually to take a look at this car, the Lamborghini Veneno. Of course we already reviewed this car earlier today for Forza 7. And one of the reasons why I chose to do something which I haven't really done before on the channel, which is reviewing the same car on two different games on the same day, is actually to highlight something beyond just the cars themselves, and that is the importance of how a car is presented in a game, resulting in you having a certain opinion of it. Because in that particular review, I mentioned that the Veneno is, at least as far as I'm concerned, a car which people go into owning and driving with expectations that are far too high. They expect it to be this revolutionary thing, kind of like the LaFerrari or the McLaren P1 or the Porsche 918 of Lamborghini. But the fact is, it's not that car. It is not a La Lamborghini in terms of performance. In terms of marketing, it is. It's kind of presented as being this big anniversary edition ultimate Lambo. That's all well and good. But that's something which Lamborghini does a lot. They're always coming out with anniversary editions and special reskinned versions like the wherein tonne and the Centenario. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean it's going to be the best Lambo ever. And that's the main issue that I have with this car. It's a very pretty vehicle. It looks very extreme. I love the central fin. I love the clear LMP-inspired design combined with the fighter aspects of the wherein tonne, some of the basic shape of the Aventador, and a number of other cues from different sources that make the car what it is. It's not the looks, the design, or even the marketing that I have an issue with. It's the performance. Because the simple issue is, this is a stupidly expensive car on most games that it's featured on. As I mentioned in the Forza review, on that game it costs as much as an F1 car. On this game it costs more than most other cars in the game, in fact. This is, I believe, the most expensive car on Gran Turismo Sport currently. 3.6 million credits. That's ridiculous. That's literally 3 Vision GTs or 3 Le Mans prototypes plus a couple of mid-level supercars like a 458 and a Huracan. You could probably even buy a Porsche 911 GT3 in there as well. That, for one car, is a really high bar. Now, of course, there are a number of supercars which pride themselves in being ridiculously overpriced. Stuff like your Lycan Hypersport. That's the point of the vehicle. But with a Lambo, I feel that they have almost less room to do that. Because when you buy a Lycan, there's no stakes. Nobody knows the company, they have nothing to prove, they're just this crazy, oddball, out-of-left-field kind of Koenigsegg type company, or Spiker or Pagani, which bursts onto the scene and just makes a good impression. Zenvo, as well, is a great example. With a Lamborghini, or Ferrari, or Porsche, or Maserati, they just don't have that luxury anymore. People expect so much of them, and I think that's the main reason why the Veneno has always disappointed me a bit, not just on games, but in real life as well. It's not that it's a bad car, certainly not, and that is the way that some people will take my reviews for it, as me hating on the vehicle. That is not the case. The reason why I don't like the Veneno that much, in terms of its performance, is it's not as good as it should be. It's not as good as a Lamborghini should be. It's not as good as customers deserve it to be, especially given the looks that it has. This car has no reason to have a central fin. It's not fast enough to need it. In fact, it's not really any faster than something like a Aventador SV. It's got roughly the same kind of specs as one, in fact. 739 horsepower on GT Sport, 532 pound-feet of torque, and the weight is okay. It's not stupidly heavy, it's not overly light, at 1450 kilos. Now, you can upgrade it, you can go way beyond 800 horsepower, which is good, but again, it's still heavier than I would personally like. After all, it's not designed to be a luxury car, it's designed to be an anniversary, this ultimate Lambo kind of design, so why does it weigh so much? This, as far as I'm concerned, and of course this could just be me, but when I see cars like the LaFerrari, the 918, the P1, but then beyond that, stuff like the Vulcan from Aston Martin, that's what this could have been. This could have been the FXX of Lamborghini. It could have been the Vulcan of Lamborghini. Now, I don't mean a track-only special, which isn't allowed on the road. I mean something which weighs like 1,300 kilos or less, with 800 horsepower or more, because it certainly looks like a car that should have that. It doesn't look like a car that should have 9 horsepower more than like an Aventador SV has anyway, or something like that, that kind of power and spec comparison. Especially, and this is the crucial thing, when you're paying 10 times the price of a Lamborghini Aventador for the car. That is stupid. I don't care how much you love the vehicle, that is a stupid price. Now, on Gran Turismo Sport, the pricing of this vehicle is far worse than on Forza, because on Forza you can earn that kind of cash in about a day, in fact a few hours, depending on what you do. And at the end of the day, all of the cars on Forza 7 cost a lot less than they usually would. On Gran Turismo Sport, almost all of the best cars in the game cost 1 million credits or less. The Vision GTs, the real prototypes, even some of the best supercars cost that kind of money, or less. So the fact that this one costs so much, it's just not justifiable to me. Now the Vulcan, the Aston Martin Vulcan, which is also very expensive, it's like 3.3 million, that feels more justified, because yes, it's way too expensive again, really, but at least you can understand why. It's actually developed to be the hardcore ultimate Aston, and it actually delivers on that goal. It's got 800 plus horsepower, it weighs 1,300 kilos or less, it has insane trackability like the FXXs, the 599XXs and a variety of others, the Maserati MC12 Corsas. This one just doesn't have that. It's a car which almost wants to run with those guys and have them as its peers, but just doesn't deliver the performance needed to do so. Now, is it bad? No, not in the slightest. And as I said, I'm not a hater of the Veneno. I actually don't like it because I want it to be better. It's kind of the reverse of hating it. I want to love it. But when you buy the car, and I said this in the Forza 7 review also, if you buy a Veneno on any game, but of course specifically here for GT Sport, know what you are getting into. Do not buy it hoping it's going to be the best thing ever, hoping that it's going to be the best Lambo, hoping that it's going to be the best supercar. It's not. That's a simple fact. However, if you go into it as I would with something like a Zenvo, and again I mentioned this in the Forza review, I know that the Zenvo ST1 is not as quick as most cars with its power would be, but I like the car regardless of how good it is, and that's why I bought it. So that's the important thing with this car. If you're going to buy one, know what you're getting into and buy it because you love it. Don't buy it because you want it to be the best, because that, it is not. But overall, that's it for this particular review. I expect it to be a controversial one because of the love that people have for the Veneno, but that's just the way I see it. So overall, I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.